Cumite, bro. Okay, so in the previous episode, I hate you. I hate you. So we had this aid coming from Britain. Maybe in part because they placed that article in the local newspaper in Cheltenham or the region, and they placed my picture in. And contrary to what you may think if you see me today, I was then a charming guy. Wait for another 100 episodes and we reach the big love story. Well, love story. On my side, it was an obsession. I still can't get over it. It seems somehow. Uh, I mean, over. What does it mean? Was it? Did I change after that? Did I become fucked up, crazy, and was depressed? So anyway, in 100 episodes, we reached the moment when I seduced some Miss Romania. Can you imagine that? You need an imagination to think, to see this guy in the past and being so charming and dashing. Le Prince Charmant. Anyway, so in Craiova, I'm meeting Socrates at the railway station, and when we get to the van, I tell him, look, it's Easter, so you have to tell them, you have to wish them Happy Easter, and that's I hate you. He had no English, of course you can imagine. So he comes and very decided, a tall guy, this tall, strong then, well, still in some shape today, but it's, 30 years on. And he scared the shit out of I guess of the older English guy. Joanne was also puzzled, but I think she, no, maybe women in general, she got over it sooner somehow. I mean, it became clear it's a joke somehow. I'm pretty sure I started laughing quite a lot. I mean, I even know it's a cherished moment because it was crazy. She drives me crazy. I mentioned that too. I mean, the disco and all. So we went to the village. We were met. We were met at the entrance of the village by the mayor, and this is where Shit Creek it got the Emmys the day before yesterday or sometime recently. I tried to look at the first episode, but it wasn't so fantastic for this viewer. But anyway, maybe, I mean, I'm sure there is something there. It's also true that they're the 7th series or something. They just they're terminating it, or it's a final season, and one of the comedians for the late shows or late show said, okay, I'm announcing this is the last year or something, joking that this will attract an award. Maybe they had that in political calculation, calculating on something other than the value of the series. But anyway, shit creek. So, because there were some crazy days. I mean, mă, fi cu minte, mă, dă-te, mă, jos, mă, dă-te de jos de acolo. Dă-te jos. Dă-te jos că mă enervezi. Dă-te jos. He's doing this over and over again. He made holes. This guy can fly, and then who knows what. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up as soon as possible before they do more damage, or I do to them. So yeah, and he was in a Lada, the Russian-made car, and the first funny, weird thing about this place was the battery in the car. The cars in I mentioned this in the past. In this part of the world, Lada, Skoda, Dacia were not known for excellent quality. So this one had problems with the battery, and the guy decided to install a battery from a tractor, which would be, I guess, much more powerful, and then he will not have trouble. Only the battery for tractor is huge, and it would not fit where the original one was placed, somewhere alongside the engine, under the hood. He placed it on where the legs of the front passenger should be. So, as I was that guy, I mean, in charge of the expedition, I'm joking, I wasn't in charge, but knowing Joan, she was a visitor, and I being more pushy at that time, I don't know, obraznik, rude, I don't know. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's a boring story. Let's stop. So I was there, and I had my knees in my mouth because of this thing. Well, to compensate to some extent, there was a very sexy niece. She was brought over from, and we would fuck. Let's give this already. That was also funny at the few days from this moment. Let's anticipate, and I will repeat when we get there. She would be. Again, I was attractive. Okay, remember that. She would be very close all over me. And she would be very sensual and very fervent and moving her hands. In the van, as we were going, this is the end of the trip. We have to spend some days yet, but let me get there now. We were going to Arad, to the border, to get them out of the country, to make sure they're not coming back. No, but to be nice to as much as we can, and offer our company, our support as much as. So there was Joanne and the other Englishman in the front, and Socrate, me, and the girl in the van in the back somehow. But the man couldn't get his head over this. I mean, and with the, I hate you, with the way that people drive here, with all the mess in this village. Let's call it Shit Creek. Why not? So and this girl doing all this crazy thing at his back, but then he could sense it. He knew about it. Fitzcominci. So that was, and the man was tense. Was anyway. Băi, termină, mă! Putulește-te. Ai lemn să... Ronțai. Okay, so let's return to the visit in this Twin Peaks. And so we went with the mayor. The British man was driving the van, but he was told to keep a distance, and everything from here was very bizarre, very strange, very Mad Max dystopian in some way, Trumpian, because what happened was this in the background, in the recent history. As I mentioned, there were some other, in the past, operations, schemes to help Romania. I mean, there was a revolution, people were appalled by what happened, and they felt friendly, they felt sorry for a country that has been under this idiot Ceausescu, something like Kim of North Korea now, kept in the cold, in hungry, without heat, without electricity for long periods of time, without freedom, maybe. So there was empathy into it. And others had come before us with something. But the problem is that this generated conflicts. I mean, they brought something, I don't know how much, how, But as with the distribution, they all suspected the mayor. That the mayor got, I don't know, gems, stones, pearls, something. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, I don't know. The fact is, there was, and he didn't want another problem like that. He didn't want them to eventually come to his house and take it apart, destroy it to find the hidden gold and treasures. I don't know. So that was the background. Now again, for our British friends in particular, Children was more balanced, but our friend was already tipped. His equilibrium was disturbed, and it makes sense. I mean, coming all the way here with the lorry through Europe, driving on the wrong side of the road, if you will, but, under stress here because it's still is a crazy traffic, and maybe it was crazier then, although it was not the amount we have today. It was maybe 100 times less. There were 100 times fewer cars, almost surely. So, but still many carts. Now there's a law that says they're not allowed on the national roads. Then you didn't have cars, but you had many carts, and that's a cart is as bad and as dangerous as, I don't know, 1,000 cars. I don't know. Because it's so slow, because many, especially at night, they weren't supposed to be signal. I mean, you just hit it when, anyway. So, and then this thing with no, you're not coming here. Somebody will show you. You take the van to the town hall. I don't know, and some of the details are obscure, but I know it was the situation of two clans, more or less, fighting each other, not physically, not with knives and guns. Maybe not yet. Maybe they killed each other later. I don't know. There are some regions, some places, some villages where it is known that they come with swords, actually, the sabers outside, and they cut each other. Well, and not just villages. What am I saying? There was an uproar, and they made also jokes a month ago. Some guy, leader of a clan here in the capital, had a fight with another clan, and he was killed. With what, I'm not sure, and I don't really care. I don't want to know, and it's vicious of me, but this kind of guy. Later on, in 3 years, episode 2005 maybe, maybe we reach the guys met at the sauna, where they have some characters, and let's just say this and return, and then wrap up, because we're near the end of this episode today. Once I had my things in the locker room, next to, there was my box and there was his box, and this guy felt that I can't. I mean, he's one of the princes in the clan, or I don't know. They have it's there's a minority. Nothing here. Nothing personal, ethnic, racist, or it's just different cultures, different habits. After all, I've been through a course with AT&T. No, it was after AT&T. It was offered by somebody from the embassy, communicating across cultures. So that's their thing. And so he had a rank or something, but if he felt I'm too close to him, or too close to, or I'm just there, and I can't be near him because he's some kind of a lieutenant in this mafia, in that clan, or Sportivi, or Jambashi, or whatever. I don't know. So, but hey. And there were some other things. A guy was chased around the pool by one of the leaders, the known leaders, Spoitoro. But maybe we'll get to that later. Some of these details are said now, even if they happen in the future, because I may skip them. By the way, this village story was nearly passed over because I was moving towards a queen of beauty towards, I don't know, other things. I have to talk some of the adventures of the Black Sea coast with the Audi, the attack on the car, and on yours truly. So yeah, but we're still in the shit creek of Voltinia, and we will be there tomorrow too. So in the next episode, the distribution of the charity of the goods brought over, the mess that was there, and more of this conflict between mayor on one side and, I don't know, the head of the Cooperativa de Producție, the CEAPE, the farm, state farm there on one side, the English teacher from the village on the other, the evolving affair between me and the niece of the mayor, the confusion and the craziness of the place in the next episodes.